Good evening, everybody. Luke here from Auto No Better podcast. Got a very special episode for you all tonight. A little bit of somber episode. Joined tonight by three of the other guys, three of the regulars. Gilly, how we doing, mate? All right?
Could be better, could be worse.
Yeah, absolutely. Smarty, how's tricks, buddy?
Well, I ain't killed myself, so that's a positive. I'm here.
Yeah, every cloud and all that. And finally, last but certainly most least, Jay, how are you doing, mate? All right?
I've got a vodka, mate. I'll survive.
Don't
drown in your glass, Jay.
Yeah, you haven't got any bloody metal straws with you tonight, have you? That we're going to have to take off.
None of that, pal. None of that. Don't worry.
Confiscate them off you.
None of that.
Yeah, look. Obviously, got together tonight. We'd usually be doing our weekly pod, but we got our heads together in the group chat and just decided that we think. Well, I mean, it was obvious what we were going to do tonight, wasn't it? Really, we didn't need any polls or anything like that. Got our heads together and decided to put a bit of a memoir or an ode to Marcelo Bielsa. So we're going to get into, and I'm sure we're going to hear lots of our individual memories, but also from some of our friends as well. So looking really forward to tonight's episode. We'll play the intros we normally would, and then we'll get into a bit of a chat, lads. All right.
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Auto No Better podcast. Let's do this.
Good evening, lads. So yeah, real sad episode for me. I think I was saying to somebody earlier on text that this almost feels like my goodbye. And I know it sounds a bit dramatic and a bit probably a bit deep, really, but I didn't think I'd ever expect to feel the way I do now about a 66-year-old Argentine who doesn't have a fucking clue who I am. Do you know? I honestly didn't think I'd ever feel like this about him. I knew the day would come, and it just shouldn't. It just for me, it shouldn't have been like this, and it has upset me. I've been a different person. I'm not going to lie. Over the few days, I don't know how's it affected you guys.
I mean, I've noticed you've been a different person because you've been quite nice to me. So, I mean, in that respect, it's not been so bad.
About you, Smart? Are you supping tea there?
Yeah, no coffee.
Absinthe.
No, I've got all sorts of drinks and shit knocking around me at a minute. Probably jack up at fucking shortly afterwards. No, I think from kind of walking out at ground with my head in my hands, I just found it really, really difficult. Weirdly, like I say, someone who I've never met, someone who doesn't even know who I am. And I'm sat there with me head up my ass, head in my hands, Saturday night, staring into fucking space in my living room, like, you know, what the fuck's going on? And then Sunday, just going. Go on.
Did it feel like you knew it was going to happen after the game on Saturday? Because I know, I obviously weren't at the game, and I seen the reports coming through, and I was like, how the fuck have BT Sports got that information so quick? I was, quite quick to rubbish it. But obviously walking out the ground, it's slightly different. You hear mutterings and probably a lot of people saying that they wanted him to go, probably soon change their mind. So did it feel almost like it was coming to an end then? Did you have a feeling?
No, not until I got in my car. It was weird because obviously we'd had the games against Scum and Liverpool. And then Saturday were a bit positive at the start, especially at first, the atmosphere in stadium were cracking. And then it all went to shit and we started conceding goals. And then I don't know how everyone else felt, but I just started to have this really bad sinking feeling in my stomach. Like it felt like someone were washing up in my stomach a little bit. And it was just kind of this daunting, I can't see anything sort of positive anywhere. It's going to absolute rat shit. The crowd had gone completely silent and we're just basically just watching everything just fall apart. And usually there's a bit of a buzz and stuff outside ground and all that sort of stuff. It was just silent, people with their heads down, just walking home. It was horrible. It was really, really horrible. And then I saw a tweet from, I think it was Philly. When I got back in my car, I saw something from Philly pop up saying, this could be it for Bielsa. And I was just like, no, I'm not having that. And then as the night transcended, then obviously more and more people starting to report it and stuff. And then that was it, wasn't it?
It were awful.
What about you, Gilly? How's it sort of took its toll on you over the last couple of days?
Yeah, I think this it seems far-fetched, especially in the context of what you guys have already said. You know, this guy doesn't know who we are. He's got no idea who we are. We're in a position where we're kind of mourning a situation around somebody that has no clue what's going on in our minds. But I think from my perspective, I've been grieving, and that seems daft, but I genuinely have. When you look at the stages of grieving, you know, that initial one of denial, I wasn't having that at all. I just wasn't having it. It didn't seem real, and you know, it did seem really abstract on the evening, and I couldn't rationalize it in my mind. Couldn't get there. And then there was definitely anger, and I'm still feeling some of that now. I think so. The stages are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. I've certainly not got to acceptance yet. I think I'm somewhere between anger and depression, and that's pretty much that is how I'm feeling at the moment. And I don't think I'll be able to accept it until I see some evidence that is all right. And that sounds really weird. Yeah, and if you look at the managers that we've had, and you look at the history that we've had, you know, Milanic and Steve Evans and Heck and the Hawk, and you know, we couldn't wait to see the back of them. I've never ever found myself in a position of thinking, "Oh my God, I hope he's all right," because what I wanted was. What was best for my club, and actually what was best for my club, I was 100% convinced that they weren't right for my club and shouldn't have been there in the first place. Can't feel that way about Bielsa. I can't rationalise it in my mind, and I'm still struggling with it now.
I mean, even everybody I've spoken to, I mean, the majority of people I've spoken to feel the same. Leeds fans, proper Leeds fans. I mean, any that you speak to, well, I can't say proper Leeds fans because we're all entitled to different opinions. But what I mean is people who I'd never imagined to be upset over a man, never mind a 66-year-old man. You know, it just doesn't add up how we've all got to this stage in our lives where we are grieving and one of the sayings is when he left Chile that they became Bielsa widows, and you can see why they're feeling and you can see why they feel that. Just really quickly, Jay, do you want to just flick through a couple of the comments before we play our first video? Basically, ladies and gents, tonight the sort of agenda we've got, not agenda, but the sort of route that we're going to take. We've got plenty of videos to show you from lots of friends of Ought Know Better. We've also got a couple of videos that a couple of lads have made. Matt making one, the intro video here, and then Jay making a bit of an outro to finish us off tonight. So yeah, stay tuned with us. We'll just go through a few comments that do start coming in, Jay, if you will.
Yeah, I will. Just give me 1 minute. I'm just going to say what I thought about it all, because I made a joke about stuff, but I haven't really said about how I actually felt about it yet. So I just want to get that out before we move on. Matt, there, you said a lot of the same stuff I felt, to be honest. The denial, especially, because when those rumours started coming out, I was thinking, nah, it can't be true. Can't be true. Got to be a way to stop this if it is happening. Surely, like, when they see how we're all reacting to it, they'll reverse this, you know. But it were clearly, the other guy were a done deal, clearly. It were already in the works on it, and the way it was released, the way it got out through certain sources, I think that really upset people, because it was something that seemed like the club may have thrown it straight out there straight after the game, and for everything that Bielsa's done for us, he deserved so much better than that. And you know, you were saying about like feeling this way about an old man, you know, I thought the same. I was worried about him. I was thinking, is he sat at home crying now, you know, in his armchair on his own? And that thought killed me. It really did. I mean, that game, during the game, I said to the guy next to me, if we get hammered here, I don't think he'll survive this, because there was just that feeling of doom in the air, and you could sense it in the ground. The crowd were dead. It were flat. It's never like that. We never booed the players off, not in a Bielsa team anyway. And it happened at half-time and full-time. And, yeah, I mean, this is the guy that made a lot of people fall back in love with football. As a Leeds fan, this will sound quite cheesy, I think, but I think he also taught us how to be better human beings with the way he conducted himself.
I
He
don't
was
think
just
that's
so much
cheesy at
more.
all. I think you're spot
No,
on.
that's
I
not
think,
cheesy at all.
I think,
Yeah,
I think, I think it made us as Leeds fans far more. He gave us far more integrity and far more belief. Not once did you hear Bielsa complain about a referee or VAR or any of his players.
Never.
Not once. And then you see fucking Frank Lampard today. And I
Yeah.
don't want to make this about other people, but you see him complain, a written complaint about the level of refereeing. You know, it just goes. There are levels to this type of shit, and he's all. I mean, we'll come on to it in a minute. I know we've got a lot of people and a lot of things to get through, but
Yeah,
we'll
we'll go to the comments in a sec.
yeah. Let's get onto the comments, and then we'll crack on with Matt's first video.
But yeah, it does feel like a bereavement, you know, and it's hard to accept that this guy's gone that we love, but we will hand the floor to our esteemed viewers now. So we've got Bremner's Ghost. Evening, lads. Utterly gutted. Feels like the worst fuck-up a Leeds board's made since hiring Ridsdale. Can't really disagree with that, to be honest. There's been a lot of fuck-ups over years, but I think this is pretty significant.
I'd say fucking hiring Hockaday were one of them. Probably higher up there than that, but you know.
I would rate sacking Bielsa as higher than hiring Hockaday.
Oh God, yeah, massively.
Yeah.
Good evening, Alison and Marty. Feels like a victory to Leeds head. Yeah, I don't want to get into that. This pod isn't about any negativity, I don't suppose, in particular. We just want to try and keep it, Bielsa focused. But yeah, probably right. Grieving, yeah, I think you're right. Lynn's, all she wants to know is that he's all right. I mean, there's lots of stories floating around, isn't there? That, I mean, we don't know how many of them are true, but did anybody listen to the square ball and John Richardson?
I haven't had a chance yet. I really want to listen to it, but I haven't had a
It's
chance.
not that I haven't had a chance. I've not been able to.
I wasn't ready
yet. I've not listened to it yet, but I was told via text, and I am going to listen to it as soon as I get the opportunity. But there was essentially he drove down to see if Bielsa was all right. Bielsa couldn't get out. He couldn't get out his car. He just passed some bits to his driver, some signed photos and stuff because he was that distraught. And I've heard other reports that he was sat at Thorpe Arch in his car for an hour or so after meeting everybody and cried his eyes out and just sat in his car crying. And they had senior players going over to him.
I think that might be a bit of codswallop that because
Really?
even John Richardson on Square Ball Pod said that he wasn't in there long. So it kind of contradicts that bit of
No, hang on a minute. Did he go back the next day? Because Bielsa did. He went back the next morning, but he was there until late the evening before as well.
Oh, really?
So it could have been.
Fair enough. Then.
Yeah, because Stats told us he was up there as well, didn't he, when he was up there?
That's right. Utter disrespect to the one man that returned at Leeds to where they belong, has to do miracles with a mediocre squad. No players brought in left to hang. I would be heartbroken. Yeah, I think we all feel that, Miguel. I think you're spot on. We all feel a little bit like that.
I think so.
Jack, evening lads. This is so tough. Ordered myself a big fuck off Bielsa flag, and we will hang it with pride. Good on you, Jack.
Good man.
Keep those memories going. Wasn't supposed to end this way. He deserves so much more. That's what hurts. Yeah, stories about a bit upset. Not cheesy, Jay. When he made the players litter pick around Thorpe Arch. Yeah, we'll come on to some stories in a bit, Jack. So get your comments coming in about your favourite stories that you've heard about Bielsa in his tenure here, because it was just mentioned that, Luke. Couple more, and then we'll just go on to the video. I'll be honest,
a really good one.
This is what I wanted until it happened. Be careful what you wish for. Devastated in the manner it was handled. He deserved more. Yeah, I think a lot of people probably sit in a similar camp to Derek here. There's a lot of people that were calling for Bielsa's head, and now it happened. They sort of maybe took a step back and sort of, took a few breaths and maybe thought that could have just been in the heat of the moment.
I think a lot of people. Sorry, go on. All right. A lot of people, I think, may have been sort of frustrated and voicing it, but didn't actually believe deep down that he would go. So it was kind of like you could moan, you could say, for fuck's sake, we need somebody else, or we need fresh decisions, because you were pissed off after a game and you didn't actually think it was going to happen. And I think that's probably the case for a few people, to be honest. I mean, I moaned a bit. You know, I never wanted him out or anything, but I did say...
You don't moan.
Shut up, Loke, you fucker.
Go on, Gilly.
I did say some of these decisions are baffling, you know, so I can understand that.
Yeah, I think if you reflect on the Arsenal fan base and look at what they had with Wenger out, and they had mass demonstrations about getting him out of their club, and look what they've had since. And definitely very much you can see there, be careful what you wish for. I mean, I don't know. I had a point, but it's just tough. I don't know.
Yeah, it is tough. Last couple of ones, and then we're going to go into the first video of tonight. A positive note, new guy made all the right noise in the first review. Absolutely, Bremner's Ghost. I'm sure we'll come on to that on another podcast. Final one then. Nelly used to pass it regularly and with a bit deep regret not stopping. That was one of my regrets, that having not met him. I've not gone out of my way to try and meet him or anything. So absolutely gutted. I never had the pleasure to meet with him. So yeah, pretty gutted on that one. But yeah, that'll lead us nicely then into our first video of the night, which was made very kindly by Gilly. So yeah, look, enjoy this, and then we'll get into something else.
Tees up Dallas in the D. Stuart Dallas outside her foot. Oh, what a finish from Stuart Dallas. Terrific.
What a start to the game. 17 seconds on the clock. It's going to be one of the quickest goals of the Sky Bet Championship season. It's converted by Pablo Hernandez. What a start. Leeds 1, West Brom 0.
Give it to Routledge. Routledge forced out wide, gets the cross in, read by Cooper. Now Calvin Phillips. Phillips goes across the penalty area to Luke Ayling. Now Luke Ayling can set off on a run here. Swansea have got to get those men back, and Leeds can try and exploit that. Click out wide, it goes to Helder Costa. There's space, and there's an overlapping run from Ayling, and Ayling gets the ball, and there are men in the box, and it comes for Pablo Hernandez, and Pablo Hernandez scores a goal for Leeds United. Oh, goal! Hernandez, Swansea 0, Leeds United 1.
Mañana es libre. Mañana es domingo. Eso es. Lo que quiera. Mañana libre.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
yesterday.
He's got the binoculars.
Front and centre.
It's the manner in which they've gone about it, and because of the disappointment of last season, the way it ended and the pain they all must have felt.
Plenty to aim at for Rafinha in the penalty area. Plays it up towards the penalty spot. Looping header! It's hit the bar. Bamford! Patrick Bamford follows up to nod the ball in, and Leeds United deservedly are level in this game, 1-1. Still on the edge of the penalty area for Leeds to defend though, and it's played into the penalty area, and then a good challenge from Phillips. Now then, Leeds can break. Rafinha is 1 against 2 as Rafinha crosses the halfway line. Ball at his feet, but look at the Leeds players streaking in to join him. Rafinha still goes wide to Hernandez. Hernandez on the edge of the penalty area. Look at the players here queuing up. Alioski! Oh yes! Well, that should win the game for Leeds United. Let's go up in there again. Now Leeds can break away again because Hernandez has it on the edge of the penalty area, and he's played it on to Jack Harrison, and now it's 3v2, and it's Harrison with Cleek out wide of him, and it's Harrison who's still going up towards the edge of the penalty area. Oh! You know what's just happened there, don't you? Jack Harrison has fired in an absolute fizzer, top corner, and it's Leeds United 5, Newcastle 2.
At 5 p.m. on the 16th of January 2019, Marcelo Bielsa gave a 70-minute press conference in order to address the Spygate saga. Ahead of the press conference, rumours abounded. He was designed for less than this. He's going to walk. The intention was to demonstrate that Bielsa's squadron of staff were so meticulous in their approach that no matter who they watched training, they already had all of the relevant and pertinent information available to them. Leeds went on to be fined £200,000 for standing on a public footpath, with Fat Frank's lies unpunished altogether. Bielsa paid the fine himself. Subsequently to this case, the FA legislation on conduct in the time leading up to a football match changed. To make that clear, the rules came into effect after Bielsa openly states his team had been observing other teams' training sessions, yet the club were still punished. Leeds absolutely battered Derby County that evening. Derby were very lucky to get away losing by under 2 goals.
Rodrigo, hands on hips, waits for the signal from the referee. Signal comes now. Rodrigo strikes a ball and scores for Leeds United! And Ellen Road goes absolutely crazy! 1-1!
Cracking that. Well done, Gilly.
Yeah, smashing bit of work that. I mean, just looking back through some of the comments that were coming in there while that video was being played. You know, so much to admire in that short video. So much to admire, and we just took, you know, Matt just took as quickly as he could. I mean, that wouldn't have taken that long to put together because there was that many memories of him that we could, that we could have chosen from. Made some. You know, it just makes you so thankful, doesn't it? You know, to have actually seen all that and almost been there and witnessed it. And I know a lot of that happened at that. I mean, all the real top memories happened at the height of lockdown and whatnot. But just to experience being a Leeds United fan during those times, there's so much there that could be quite easily forgotten if you wanted to, and if you wanted to look at the negatives. So yeah, I mean, just going back to the very first part of that video, the Klitsch goal, that was right back in, was it 2018? I think it was August 2018. And you know, Calvin had been sat there with Gary Rowett, I think it was, when they were doing a press conference, and Bielsa would obviously had us all summer, and Calvin knew we were in. You know, that we were going to be in fine fettle that season, and Rowett piped up and said something along the lines of he hasn't seen the bookmakers odds, and that was it. That was the first. That was the first time we saw what football was, and it just changed everything I knew about football. You know, it just continued and got better and better, didn't it? It was like
it did.
I don't know. Well, what was your favourite moment from that then, Smarty? From that lot there, I know there was quite a lot to take in there, but any one of those in particular?
Swansea. I always used to think. Remember David Beckham's free kick against Greece to get us into I can't remember what World Cup.
Euros, wasn't it? Or
Euros.
Always used to give me goosebumps and stuff like that. But that is absolutely fuck all compared to Swansea goal. Pablo Hernandez and that winner. I could literally feel my whole body, the goosebumps on my whole body, just every single time I watched that. Just unreal. Just brings back so many good memories. At that point, when everyone thought, you know what, I think we're going to do it here. I think we're going to go up as champions. That were it for me. I watched it on a beach because obviously, you weren't supposed. I don't think we were allowed in pubs then. I can't remember. But I had my laptop out on a beach and I was doing fucking somersaults and cartwheels. Obviously not right good. Falling over a fair bit, flicking sand in everyone's eyes. But yeah, it was great. I just went mental, and that specifically, as well as everything else, Going back to that Stoke game, like you say, Luke, just everything about the day, I just couldn't stop smiling. Like, what am I witnessing here? After so many years of just shit and it not really been about football, going to Ellen Road was more about a social aspect for me. Going and having a beer with my mates and going and watching some dickheads fucking kick a bag of wind around. But from that point, watching them pass the ball the way they did, the movement, the pressing, it was just like, what is this? What are we watching? And the rest is history, as I say. But yeah, that for me, the Swansea bit is the highlight for me, definitely.
Yeah. What about you, Gilly? And thanks very, very much for putting that video together. Some real good bits in that video, and really well made. Really enjoyed it. So, but yeah, if you were, you said you were emotional putting that video together. I know in the group chat.
I want that.
Which part of that stands out mostly for you? Then would you say?
Out of what was in that video?
Just that video, yeah. Just out of what you made there.
It is tough to look past that Pablo bit. Just because, as I wrote at the bottom of the screen, it felt very much exactly as Smarty was saying. That felt like that's when we actually knew. And so, but the Calvin hug and the Patrick and then the big hug and you're just thinking, I really want a Bielsa hug.
So happy. Like he's literally and the players are in awe of him, but he's almost let his guard down, hasn't he? And he's I am not Marcelo Bielsa anymore. I'm your mate who's got you promoted to the Premier League.
Yeah. I really did enjoy the shithousery of my big at Thomas Frank. I really enjoyed that. After all the shit that we put up with, and the Brentford, the issues that we'd had against them, like the season before when we were going for promotion, and then we went to their place and slipped up, and
Canos was headbutting in.
Pontus going, the Canos headbutt against Alioski, the dives and Dean Smith, and they were a team to be hated, and I really enjoyed that as well. I've got to say, I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Good. Jay, last but not least, I keep leaving you to last. I'm sorry, Jay. I'll start with you next time.
Mate. You do.
But when you're so far away, mate, I can only
How small is
favorite part?
These cows. This cow is close. Those cows are far away.
Glad to see some things never change, lads.
How far away there?
Hit me, Jay. Don't hit me actually, because you've got pretty
Revolt
big
and Rabami.
Listen, right. I'll tell you what, just for the comedy value of it, I'll be honest and I'll say, before that Stoke game, none of us had any idea what was to come. We couldn't have possibly imagined. And I remember saying to the lads I go with, I says, fucking hell, nah, we're going down us. We've had it. Finished 14th, whatever it was, season before. We've spent fuck all money. Who the fuck's this Ben White that they've brought in? You know what I mean? Who's that guy? He's not going to do anything. And then we went out there and smashed Stoke, and the rest is history. I think, we literally were stood there for most of that game just with his jaws hanging open, what the fuck is going on?
Ben White was season after.
Well, whatever. I said I was moaning about investment.
I don't mean.
It all blurs into one for me now. You know how useless I am with my memory. But we'd watched shit for so long. Nobody believed it were ever going to change at that point, I don't think. It had just been so long. We'd given up, essentially.
We were used to mid-table mediocrity, weren't we? And we didn't expect anything else, I don't think we really expected. We got that used to it. We'd been, we pushed the playoffs a couple of times. We were always, as Leeds fans, we've always had that little bit of extra expectancy that we're a little bit better, we're a little bit bigger than everybody else. We can go up this season. Every season's our season. But realistically, with the investments, with the coaching staff, with the owners that we've had, it's never been we've never been one of those teams like Wolves did that season when they had massive investment and they bought Ruben Neves and somebody else, and it was obvious they were going up. We'd never had that, had we?
But that's the exact model that Rad said he were going to follow.
I wish he would now. They're flying out. And then it was Leicester, and now they're near the bottom. But yeah. So sorry, which was your favourite part anyway? Going back to the point.
It's, to be honest, it has to be probably same as Smart. It was that Pablo goal against Swansea, because it was just that moment when everything turned, when you finally knew. Because we didn't know what was going to happen at that point. We were all worried we were going to blow it again. And it was just, that day was the day that sealed it for me. That was when everything just started falling into place. That was when that belief came. You thought, we're actually really going to do this time. And, it's heartbreaking to have been to such massive highs. To now be here talking about Bielsa in the past tense, it's just unbelievable. If you'd said this to me 3 months ago, I'd have told you you're insane. If you said it to me a month ago, I'd have told you you're insane. Do you know what I mean?
It's crazy. It's crazy, isn't it?
I can never repay what he's done for us.
Yeah,
I think it worked from like mid-season. It would always kind of on cards when the way the season were panning out, and
there were a chance.
We kind of lost our identity. We've lost our identity massively this year, whether that being a result or a consequence of injuries and all that sort of stuff. But it would always in the back of my mind like this is, and media outlets were saying it. Other influential people within the club, other podcasts were saying it. I did, square ball. I don't really listen to anyone else. And I always thought, this is probably going to be it. But I never for a second would have thought that it'd have ended like this. Just a complete, right, that's it, done. It just completely fell on its ass. It collapsed from within, and that were it. Job done. See you later. I always thought it'd be like this romantic end to a season. He never used to stick around, after games finish. I was used to shoot off down tunnel line. He'll come out and he'll clap the fans, or he might even say a few words to on a microphone, like
might do a
he did and stuff at Leicester, that sort of thing. But it's just like, right, fucking see you back. It's just it's just so sad. It's just so sad, and it's hurt a lot of people not having that chance to be able to say bye properly, and it just being.
It feels like he's been thrown away, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is like a candle burning out in it. That's
it. It's like all good things have got to come to an end. I think the biggest thing for me is the way it's come to an end. It was never meant to end like this, given all those happy memories we've just looked at there over sort of 5 or 6 minutes of video, and for it to end the way it has is probably the biggest gripe. I wouldn't even say it's a gripe. I'd say it's more of a disappointment. I think I would like to have seen him get to the end of this season, prove that he could keep us up, and we give him a proper big send off. Thank you for the last 4 years, all that sort of stuff. So look, we're going to move on. We've got plenty more to get through tonight before we finish. So I'm conscious that we might end up being on here till 12 o'clock at night if we don't crack on. So we've got a few friends of the pod who we've developed over the last sort of 15, 16 months have been together now as a podcast. Number of people who've featured on the pod, and we've asked them for their contributions and asked if they could send us a short video of what Marcelo meant to them and how and what he did for this club. So the first video we've got is from a Mr. Anders Palm, who is the chairman of the Leeds United Supporters Club of Scandinavia.
Hi, this is Anders Palm from Norway. Just came home yesterday from Leeds. Rather tough week with a very, very sad ending. Bielsa, he came and saved us. He brought life into a sleeping giant, and he will forever be in our hearts. Sometimes football is more than just, results, points, and table position. And he brought more into the club that maybe anyone else had ever done before. And he sparked like a new, fresh spirit into my Leeds support. And for that, I will always be grateful, and he will be in my heart forever. And some part of my Leeds magic will be gone with him leaving. I will always have the club in my heart. I will always support Leeds United. But a part of the magic is gone with him, and we kind of lost something there. And I'm not sure if it's worth it, really. We didn't get to say a proper goodbye to him. I feel we should have had a packed Ellen Road, standing ovations, shouting his name, and I hope we will do that on the next home game. And I guess we will be shouting his name all season, and hopefully for a longer period as well. He was amazing for us, and just so sad that he's gone. And also in this, this is not the way we wanted to part with him. So just very, very sad.
Yeah, we'll have a bit of a chat about that after. What we'll do, we'll play 2 or 3 videos at a time, and then we'll go back and have a bit of chat. One thing just worth noting from that one is what he said about the belief. That I don't think foot position isn't everything. Success isn't everything when you've been led by a Marcelo Bielsa. And he mentioned about losing a bit of spark and magic from Ellen Road, certainly from his perspective for future games, which, look, I think that's pretty much hit the fucking nail on the head for me in terms of his view. Next up, then we got Just Joe Wainman from the Just Joe Football Show. Really good friend of the pod. If you know Joe, then you'll probably recognise him. He looks a little bit like me, but uglier and ginger.
Hi fellas, hope you're doing fantastically well. I look a bit worse for wear. I'm a little bit poorly. I promise I've not been crying. What a guy, what an amazing man. A man that I will cherish for the rest of my lives, a man that I will tell my friends about, my son about. He gave me my best footballing years as a Leeds United fan, and probably ever will be. Some of the football was scintillating, wasn't it? And just thank you, Marcelo. And I've done my crying now, but every time I try and look ahead and think, okay, let's see what the future brings, I'm just straight away catapulted back into Bielsa and his tenure, by even a montage or a specific tweet or a moment or something that he's done. I don't think we'll ever forget him. This is the thing. I think we are now officially Bielsa widows, and we have to, it's a cross we're going to have to bear. And he's a 66-year-old Argentinian man. This isn't normal. But, unless you've had him, I don't think you'll ever understand. I love him, man. Thank you, Marcelo.
Yeah, I think that's a good position, a good talking point. I think it pretty much echoes everything I said about the 66-year-old man, not knowing who we are, not giving a fuck about us. Probably would give a fuck about us if he knew us, but not actually knowing who the fuck we are on this earth. That were people, but almost he treat every Leeds fan with the same amount of loyalty and integrity and trust and everything. That if whether he knew you or not, and look he said he loves him. Joe said he loves him, and I think Anders was pretty much, he was going down that road as well. anything that you can take from those two, Jay? There's obviously lots of similarities. There's going to be lots of similarities on all of our videos that have been sent tonight. But is there anything that stands out from either of those two videos that you think actually, resonate with that sort of speaks for me?
Do you know what the biggest sort of thing there is? It's the fact that these two guys, totally different walks of life. A guy from Scandinavia, guy from UK. Here we are. We're all gutted and upset about the same one man that's brought us all together, and that's the power of Bielsa.
Yeah, smashing. Smarty, anything else to add to what Jay just said there about those two?
No, not really.
Nice one.
Next.
No, I can see you get a bit emotional, aren't you, Smarty? So I'll probably just avoid you for next minute or two.
I liked what Anders Palm said about we've lost the magic, or we lost a bit of magic. Yeah, you're right. He did lose a bit of magic this year. He just won that sixth sense stuff, that mad, like I say, that the pace and stuff. It hasn't been there, has it, this year? But yeah,
I absolutely don't think that's what he meant at all. I think we've lost Bielsa, and that's lost.
Oh, sorry, I meant that.
Yeah, well. I thought that's what I meant.
Into how they're playing and stuff. It didn't feel right. Do you know what I mean? That's what I was getting. Sorry,
Leeds hating bastard.
Yeah, fair enough. We'll move on. Next up, we've got ex-Leeds United Andy Cousins, and he's got a few words to say.
Hi, I've been asked to say a few words about Marcelo. Well, a few words doesn't really bring it to forefront, really. What has he done to this football club? What has he done to Leeds United? He's put us on the map. He's put us worldwide. His brand of football was absolutely amazing. I think the togetherness he's brought within the club, the fans, the city in particular. I know when Marcelo was first coming into the club, he wasn't actually that interested about the players. He wasn't that interested about Leeds United as such, because he'd already done his homework on that. He was more interested in what the city was like, what the people were like. And I think what you've seen now is, the togetherness he's brought, the camaraderie within the football club and the fans, and the togetherness which we have on that side of things has been remarkable. More to the point, his way of playing has also been remarkable. I think, the coming up into the Premiership, when we won the league that season, some of the brand of football which we played was absolutely unbelievable. And I think some of the players, he's got the best out of. You look at them in the Premiership last year, again, the brand of football. Everybody loved us, everybody loved his philosophy, everybody loved how he played. And that's going to be surely missed, on match days. You could see the welcome he got when he first came in, and you can also see, the goodbyes when he's actually leaving and he's disappearing now, obviously, to pastures new. And the fans are very hurt at this present moment in time, because of this. But this is football. Things do have to move forward. And let's hope that the new man now coming in and can take on a lot of these things which Marcelo has actually put and instilled into the players, into the fans, into the city, and he can bring that forward now into the next 12 games for Leeds United. And there'll be nobody more willing than making sure that Leeds have that Premiership status than Marcelo Bielsa. And his, as I say, his philosophies will live on forever and ever and ever. Very similar to Don Revie, very similar to Howard Wilkinson. I would put him definitely into those categories. He's up there with the best, and there's a lot of football fans around the world who now love Leeds United because of Marcelo Bielsa. So we thank him for that very, very much so.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. I think we've got. Next up we've got Ben Hope from Apollo Junction, bassist from Apollo Junction, real good friend of the podcast.
Hi, just doing a quick few words on sharing and what I feel Marcelo has brought us over the last 3.5 years. Very sad to see him go in the circumstance it has happened. But he'll be missed. But he will be remembered forever. And it is his own words that to have that connection from fans to club, for us to feel so belonging to a club, is better than any trophy. He also said words similar to that, and I do think he's right, and I don't think we'll ever get that back. We do have to look forward as a club. We've got to focus on staying in the league. But Marcelo gave us so much joy and love and hope, and he's turned us from, think of the reputation we had before we came. You know, we are many people's second favourite team, which I know what we can say to those people. But he's really benefited the reputation of the club and the city as well. He's united the city. He'll always be remembered for wearing his tracksuit, Morrison's, Costa Coffee, and even on the corporate days. I was lucky enough with Apollo Junction to play the centenary event, and we beat Birmingham 1-0, and we were mingling with everyone. I was starstruck, but I had to look cool because I was in a band. And you know, you had Strachan, McAllister, Radrazani, all Wilkinson, all Dickie Bowes tuxedos, and the look on Rad's face when he turned up in his tracksuit was just a picture. We will miss him, and I'm certain he'll miss us. So here's a big thanks to Marcelo. You came and you conquered. Well done. All the best.
Absolutely brilliant, that, wasn't it? Ben
great.
thinking he's cool. Just because you're in a band, Ben, if you're watching it, don't make you cool, but it does actually. You're a
Did you notice
bassist,
behind him as well? That was his band all on Bielsa buckets, wasn't it?
Yeah. Right then, Matt. Let's go to you. What? Andy, always straight talking, always got plenty to say. And Ben, anything that sort of really stands out and really makes you think, you know what? Yeah. I mean,
the point about being remembered forever, it goes back to a thing that's been said, I've heard a few times of, people might forget what you said, but people won't forget how you made them feel. And it doesn't really matter what we do from this point onwards. He'll always be there. And we're never going to lose the way that he made us feel during this period. You know, we mentioned COVID before. That was one of the main things that actually got me through is looking forward, because I would actually being able to look forward to watching Leeds, and how long it had been since we had that. So, I guess that that abiding memory is probably the biggest element for me out of what's just been said.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think. Isn't it funny how everybody's resonating with the, you know, that particular saying about not it all being about success, and you know, Marcelo trying to bring people's love for football before money and happiness and everything else, and everyone's sort of recognizing that, but in little pieces, and sort of putting a bit of a puzzle together. It's really, really interesting. I think really that's what people are. That's what a lot of people are taking away from it. So yeah, next up we've got Graham Hyde, Vice Chairman of the Leeds United. Followed by...
So it's difficult to describe kind of the impact that Marcelo's had, I think, in terms of connecting the football club back to the city, connecting football fans back with a love of a game that has become so distant, so driven by money, so purely success orientated that, you know, to see something like we've witnessed over the last 3.5 seasons has been to really reconnect us with what football's about. That it's not just about being in the Premier League. It's not just about having, you know, £50 million strikers. It's about being taken on an emotional journey. And I think for the end to have happened the way it is a sad end to what has been a beautiful, beautiful journey that we're struggling a little bit, but I think we would have got through to the end of the season, and I think we could have taken it from that point. You've given us so much, Marcelo. It's been just wonderful, and I don't think we'll ever forget that. Let's hope we can secure the future of this football club going forward because the memories that we have of you will always last.
Yeah, thanks, Graham, ever so much. Next up, we've got Simon Johnson, once of Leeds United fame and now of the OKB podcast.
Hi guys, I hope you're all keeping well. I know there was a few of us feeling a little bit worse for wear after we sort of heard the news of Bielsa. Listen, I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I just want to give sort of a personal thank you to Bielsa and his team. You know, having had the privilege of walking out at Ellen Road as a player, the club obviously always meant a lot to me, but I didn't leave under the circumstances that I would have wished. And so there was a little bit of a disconnect there. But since the man took over, he's helped me to fall in love with the club all over again and helped me to realise actually how much the club means to me. And, you know, and for that, I'll be sort of forever indebted. You know, I'm sure he'll continue his great work wherever he goes. And, you know, I think it's time to try and move on, however hard that may be. But I genuinely wish the man all the best for the future. What a bloke, by the way. You know, how he's galvanised everybody in the city, and you know, it's just incredible the work that him and his team have done. And yeah, I wish the guy all the best for the future and moving forward. Thanks for everything, bud.
Nice filter, Si.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm surprised he didn't say "chow" above his head or something like that when he was talking.
Sends us a video. You start ripping him. No wonder he don't come on much.
Bless him. No,
Bless him.
I think just to highlight some of the words that he's used there, galvanising the city of Leeds, and you know, bringing communities together and stuff. Some of the words, and Graham as well. Graham again, straight after I'd mentioned it, you know, about success orientated and things like that. So yeah, look, two fantastic tributes there. One from somebody who's been involved with the club for a long time in Graham, and one who's fell back in love with the club in Simon. Through Bielsa's times as well. Does anybody have anything else to add to either of those two videos before we sort of have a little bit of a move on?
Further to what Simon said about falling in love again. As anyone who's been married will know, there's a massive difference between being in love and loving something.
fucking LJ, it's not a date.
Fucking removing the top.
I'm only messing. Get out, Jay.
Next up, we've got Leeds United author Dave Rowson.
Evening, guys. Spookily, I'm at Rudding Park, which I believe was Marcello's first home when he moved to Leeds, but I think he quickly binned it off and headed to his little flat in Wetherby. Gutted around him going. The 3.5 years have been absolutely superb. Really reignited Leeds United and connected with the fans, and such a lovely fella. I really thought they'd stick with him until the end of the season, but it wasn't to be. Yes, results hadn't been great, and clearly the club looks like it's going to be going in a different direction, but really, yeah, not the decision I would have made. Again, I dropped him a copy of my book. I hadn't got round to doing it, but dropped one in for him on Friday and said I had every confidence that he would pick up the points needed to keep us in the division and leave under his own terms. So really gutted, but you know, we've got to go and keep ourselves in this division. It's what he would want, and rally round and you know, march on together again, because we are Leeds and we take the knocks, and we have to get on with it. So sad day yesterday, and does feel like we're mourning the loss of somebody close, and would have hoped the club would have treated him better than they did. But come on, Leeds, we can stay up this year. Let's do it. All the best, guys.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Really good little interview. I don't know if you were like meant to be where you were, because you were sort of looking a little bit shifty, but yeah, it was. Thank you ever so much for sending that in. Up next, we've got somebody who's probably, I don't know if he's probably met him maybe certainly more than we have. But somebody who does a lot of work around the city. Some of you may know him as Pants Danny or Burley Banksy, but his name is Andy McVeigh. Thank you, Andy, for sending this next video in.
Oh, Burley Banksy here. Bielsa, God, where do you start? Like many people, I feel numb, I feel empty. It genuinely feels like when we had our dog put down. Deep down that, this isn't life and death, and, it's not going to really destroy your world. But it feels that it's going to take a long time to go over it. It feels like a genuine bereavement. And, the football was sensational. The football was incredible. It gave us moments that I remember my son looking at me when we scored that his second game, 4-1 Derby away. And Danny looked at me like, Dad, what is going on? Because we'd turned from the Black Bull pub team, Rothwell FC, into Real Madrid in, one summer, in 6 weeks of him training them. And I said, I don't know, Dan, I don't know what's going on. It were almost surreal. And it just kept going and it kept going. And to see my lad enjoying going to the game for the football, he enjoyed coming with me just for the occasion of it, but he enjoyed the actual stuff that were going on pitch for a change. And to see us tear people apart and play this brand of, thrilling stuff, that'll last with you forever. And that moment with my lad, thousands of people have had those kind of moments with their kids, with their mums, dads, granddads, whoever they go to the game with, and as well as football, for me, 75% of it were the off the field stuff. The thing that broke me yesterday, that got me in tears, was that clip of where he gets out of his car. He's driving away from an away match. I think it's Derby County, and he gets out, sees a Leeds fan in a wheelchair, a young girl, I think it is, and he gets out to give her a massive hug. And, would Mourinho do that? Would even Klopp do that, Guardiola? I don't think so. They'd be off in their limousine. And that were happening all the time. That wasn't a one-off. Yes, there were these lovely little kind of cute moments where he goes shopping in Morrison's with his trolley and all that, just being a normal bloke. We all do that. But obviously top managers never do. But the constant, time for selfies and autographs, and he brought sweets for kids before a game. Who does that? Who gives kids a hug in the street when they stop him for a picture and that? And thousands of our kids in this city, thousands of Leeds kids, that humility, that integrity, that respect for everyone, that will have sunk into them. And I'm sure that there's thousands of kids now from 6 to 16 who will treat other people better because they've seen their hero, Bielsa, do the same. There's that saying that you can tell a lot about a person, how they treat, the bin man, the cleaning lady, the supermarket worker. They treat them the same as they'd treat a film star or a millionaire. And Bielsa were the epitome of that. There's all these stories. When we got promoted, he thanked the backroom staff and everybody, but he also thanked Vera, the lady who brought him tasty soup every day and left it on his doorstep in the lockdown. Can you imagine Guardiola thanking a little old lady in Manchester for leaving him some soup because they'd won Champions League? I mean, it's just beautiful. It's just a beautiful thing. And now he's gone. It feels like we're just going to be another Premier League club now because we've lost this amazing man. I was proud. I was so proud that he was our manager. You're always proud of being a Leeds fan, aren't you? But there hasn't been that much to be proud of. But I was proud that he was ours. It was like, unique. And people are sad that he's gone, but we're also really lucky. 99% of football fans around the world will never have Bielsa as their manager. So we have to look at it like that. It's been an absolute privilege to have him. And yeah, be sad and be gutted that he's gone, but just be thankful that you've witnessed what he's done, and you've been able to see a genius at work, but also an incredible human being. And God, I'm gonna have to go. I'm getting emotional. This is ridiculous. I'm not normally like this. I've never been like this about any player or manager before. God, right, I'm gonna go. Bye.
No, brilliant. That's the best thing about that.
I think that's just smashed everything about it, hasn't it? It's just smashed everything about it. We've all tried voicing that, and I think that in that condensed bit there, he's voiced what all of us were thinking. And it's about the humility and the integrity of the man more than anything else.
Although I have seen someone else handing kids sweets before games, and it's Jay.
I thought that were about you.
Some Weathers originals being thrown around there, Jay.
I thought that were about you.
Well, yeah, I think look, the less said about that, less is more often in it. You know, we don't really need to say out about Andy's video there because it was literally nail on the head stuff.
Yeah.
Before we just go on to the last couple of videos, just going to fly through a couple of comments that have come in while we've been going through these videos, if you don't mind, chaps. Emmy says, a Southern 9-year-old proudly wears his Leeds kit to after-school training every week. When his coach asked him about it, he said, he watched Take Us Home on Prime and I'm going to play for Leeds one day. So, you know,
Brilliant,
stuff like that. I mean, Alison and Marty, great tributes. Gordon, Marcelo wasn't just about football, sorry. He was more than that to Leeds fans. He loved United, the people, and the city. Look, I think there was a lot of stuff going around about Marcelo when he chose Leeds. Leeds, you don't choose Marcelo. Marcelo chooses you. Was the thing that was banded about, and I think he did a lot of research into Leeds and the city and the culture and the people and everything. And I think that sort of epitomizes that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Emma Bernal has said, we were very lucky to meet him once after leaving a match. He had his jumper on back to front and made him love me even more. You can see him do it, that, can't you?
100%. 100%.
Carl, well said. Dave, yeah, I think Dave's was great message about sort of moving forward and being Leeds. Wouldn't surprise me if Marcelo comes back into management in the future. Bielsa has been good for Leeds, as Leeds have been good for him. Bielsa's stock hasn't diminished. His services will be in demand. That's a good talking point. But I think we'll probably save it for a proper pod about his next steps and things. So yeah, great point, Michael. Demi says that was so true. Lindsay, that this message nails a lot. Emma, Christ, pants made my eyes leak. I don't know if that's one sentence or if there should be a comma in there somewhere.
Yeah, that was Christ. Pants Danny made my eyes leak, wasn't it?
Right, okay.
Yeah, of course it was.
Came from the heart, yeah, bueno, brilliant. Breaking down again, smashing. Some
Before
great
you move
stuff.
on, Luke, I will just say that comment from Emmy Lou about her 9-year-old, I think you said it was. That is another thing that highlights that whole lost generation of Leeds fans that we were having, you know, young kids that didn't follow Leeds because we were crap. And I feel like Bielsa's done a lot to bring kids like that back. And so he's not only done massive things for us now, he's done massive things for the club forever, for years.
And it goes back to again what Pants Danny said about the kids having more sensibility and humanity and humility and being nice to each other and being more friendly and maybe giving their mate their last sweet when maybe our generation would have just scoffed them all and then had one left and booted it down the road and made your best mate chase it or something like
our
that.
Generation would want somebody for theirs.
Yeah. And it just goes back. Sorry, Smarty. Sorry to interrupt you, mate. Go on.
No, it's all right. There's a lot of sweet talk getting talked about in this pod. What resonates with me is that you know, before Bielsa and maybe even a couple of managers before that, it were a bit embarrassing to be proud of Leeds and all that sort of thing. We all stuck together. You had that Leeds thing where it's us against the world and all that sort of stuff, but over time, you know, when Bielsa came on board and over time, it were chest out. We are Leeds, you know, and people took notice and people knew exactly what we were about. And it was something to be really, really proud of. Him and the whole team gave us a team to be really, really proud of again, rather than kind of like, yeah, I'm Leeds fan for my sins, you know, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
no, I think I've said those exact words in the past.
Yeah, I have, definitely. For my sins, I'm a Leeds fan for my sins.
We're shit, but they're my team, I love them.
Yeah, smashing. Last couple of videos then. Last couple of friends videos, should I say. And then we've got a very special ending, a tribute that Jay's put together for us today. So we'll start with Jamie Ralph, who runs the Newell's English account, who put a very heartfelt message out the other day saying that we're always welcome to the Estadio Marcelo Bielsa over in Rosario in Argentina. So this is what Jamie's got to say about the time he's known us.
Hey Luke and all the Art to Know Better hosts and listeners. This is Jamie here from the Newell's Old Boys English account on Twitter and the newellscaraco.com website and online store. What can I say about the last 3.5 years with Marcelo Bielsa at Leeds? I'm not exaggerating, but it kind of did change my life in a way. I'd set up the Newell's Old Boys English Twitter account about 6 months before Bielsa joined. And I remember at the time that I'd been posting tweets about rumours of what club he was going to go to next. He was spending some time in Mexico and things like that. And then he got linked with Leeds. And I think most Leeds fans will tell you that they didn't really know much about him before he arrived. So what happened was my account then became suddenly the kind of expert voice, weirdly enough, on Bielsa's career and his history with Newell's. And I remember the day he was appointed. I remember watching the first match against Stoke, and I couldn't have predicted then everything that's happened over the last 3.5 years. Even personally, I've been over to, I mean, most listeners will know, and most people, a lot of people who follow the account will know that I'm a Spurs fan, and that I got into Newell's through Maurizio Pochettino, which is how many Leeds fans now have kind of got into Newell's as well. It's through Bielsa, it's through an ex-player or a manager. But Bielsa taken over as I've been over to Elland Road twice. I've made loads of friends in Leeds, lifelong friends now, I hope. I've been on loads of podcasts like your own. And I feel like I kind of had this responsibility to teach people about Bielsa's former career and about who he is. And in an instant, that seems to be gone now. So absolutely gutted. I think the way it's happened has been quite unfair. And from what I believe, it's been a very emotional few days in Leeds, because, you know, he's been at his happiest for so long in your city and at your club. And it's just shocking to think that he's not going to be on our TV screens anymore and on the sideline at Elland Road. It certainly has kind of left a gap in my life now, and who knows what happens next. I wish Leeds United fans all the best. And I do hope that you will stay up this year. I'll be keeping an eye out for you and hoping that the transition to the next manager is a success. And I hope that you all will keep an eye on Newell's Old Boys results as well. As I said in the statement that I wrote yesterday, for all the Leeds fans, you're all welcome at the Estadio Marcelo Bielsa in Rosario. We've taken many Leeds fans to games there already, and just because Marcelo's not the manager anymore doesn't mean that you're no longer welcome there. I'd love to show you around and show you the stadium and bring you to a match. Let's hope that the relationship between the two clubs is maintained, because it's been a crazy few years, and certainly I've gotten so much from it. That's pretty much it. Thanks, Luke. Hope to catch up with you soon. And all the best to Leeds for the rest of the season.
Cheers, Carl.
Jamie.
That was nice.
Carl. Carl. Really, really good video. And it sort of almost echoes his statement. We'll have a bit more of a chat about that after the final video that we've got from friends of the podcast. And this was a bit of a surprise. This one that Stats, who unfortunately can't be with us tonight, managed to scramble out of the bag, and it's Mr. Simon Grayson.
Hi, Simon Grayson here. So what does Marcelo Bielsa mean to me? Well, when he first arrived nearly 4 years ago, there's a lot of people that'll be wondering who he was, and if you did know him, how long was he going to stay at Leeds United? What sort of impact was he going to have? Well, I suppose you can only say that he's going to go down as one of the all-time greats of Leeds United, from turning an average bunch of players to a large core of that group of players into Premier League players, finishing in the top half of the division in the first year, playing free-flowing football, entertaining football. An unbelievable coach that has been such an icon to the supporters, to the city in general, rejuvenating a football club that really wasn't going too far in the last few years. And he's certainly placed a massive emphasis on being humble, being down to earth, to the point of stopping having pictures with kids, adults, coffees in Wetherby. He's such a fantastic character and been immense for Leeds United. I think when you look also on what he's done for the club, he's brought a club that everybody used to hate, they're now second favourite team, to the point of where when Leeds scored against Aston Villa in the Championship, he allowed Aston Villa to go down the other end and score and got a fair award off it. So what an icon, as I said, for the football club in the city, and very privileged to have seen him and been around and be part of this new era of Leeds United supporters, of people that are enjoying everything that is connected with Leeds United. So can't speak highly enough of him, and he will certainly be missed, but certainly not forgotten.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Hey,
Yeah.
Well, how good is it to see Simon looking so well? Somebody who's been through not exactly the same as what Marcelo's been through, but he's got a team promoted, and then obviously been through the relinquishing of duties, shall we say? So somebody there who pretty much has done almost the exact same as Marcelo, albeit a division difference. Just unreal. Just the amount of respect these people, all these people we've had on tonight, from people who do podcasts and YouTube, from people who aren't even fans of Leeds United, from ex-players, ex-managers. That isn't it. I don't even know what the word is, Matt. You're better with words than me. What's the saying when they all have a similar common denominator, all have the same values and beliefs as they've all come to the same conclusion about the same man?
He's unified a city. So, but it's not, the appeal's wider than that. So he has unified a city, and I think that that message has come through. I think rather than specifically focusing on those past couple, I think if you take the messages overall and look at the threads that are running through them, it goes back to the fact that he's just a good man. You could always be in a scenario. We've had Bates and that sort of shite involved in the running of our club, but you knew actually that with Bielsa at the helm and managing the team, that actually not only would his integrity come through in everything that he did, but at the same point, you knew that things would be done in the right manner for the right reasons. We reflect on the fact that he got the players out litter picking for 3 hours to show them how a supporter had to work to earn a match day ticket. To impress upon them what it meant to be able to go and watch them, and showed that the players are in a privileged position. But if you listen to the players that he did that with, what they would talk about is the privilege of being able to play under Marcelo Bielsa. And it's an overall mutual respect on all sides. And I think that echoes to everything that he does.
Absolutely.
I think you're right. I just want to say one thing, Matt. Sorry, just about the litter picking, so the players know what fans have to do to get a ticket. I'm just really glad that he chose litter picking and not some of the things other people do to get a ticket, because that could have really messed our season up,
So yeah, I mean, what I want to do then, there's obviously one final video. I've got a little statement that I wanted to read out, which is probably the best.
Just before you get into that, I do want to watch the other one. I want the little video. Yeah. I want you to play it. The little one.
Yeah. We'll do that in a second. But what I wanted to do is just get if you could meet up from all of you before we put that on. If you could all meet up with Marcelo and say thank you for one thing in his time and his tenure here, what would be that one thing and why? And I'll start with you, Jay.
I guess I'd say thank you for giving us our club back and for giving us something we can be proud of again, not something that is a laughing stock of other clubs who relish and enjoy getting one over on us anymore.
Sorry, Jay. Just really quickly, if anybody in the comments wants to add to this, please be my guest and tell us what one thing you'd thank Marcelo for. Please, we'll flash the best ones up.
Mate, that's it really for me. It's just he's made me proud to be a Leeds fan again. He's like we alluded to earlier. You know, it used to be a bit of a joke, didn't it? Oh, I'm a Leeds fan. Yeah, you know, we're crap. You know, but I love them.
Yeah.
You know, but now it's like, yeah, you know, I'm a Leeds fan. We're awesome. We're in the Premier League. We absolutely destroyed the Championship. We play amazing football, or we did. You know, we can all be proud again. And he's as Matt said, he's united the club, the city, the fans, just the whole atmosphere around the place. And it's like when you go out on a match day now, it's even when you're in town before a game, it's different now to what it was in the dark days. People are in a good mood. You can have a laugh. That you can feel it in the air. And I'll forever be grateful to him for bringing us that back.
Good. Yeah, brilliant. Smarty?
Kind of echoing what Jay said, really. I think if I would say thank you, I suppose I'd thank him for taking the Leeds United DNA, ripping the bad bits out, rebuilding it into something that we now know and love. Rebuilding the structure, redeveloping the culture within the club. You know, like Matt said, you know, uniting a fan base and just laying the foundations for whoever may take over. I know it's, you know, Jesse or whatever, but not just him, but for future managers to be able to come into this club and do the best they can. And that's down to him, really. He's redeveloped the whole club from the ground up, and you know, I'm sure all of us will always be thankful for that.
Especially our fan base. You know, if ever there was a more splintered fan base coming off the back of Chelino and Evans and Hock and Heck and the rest of it, you know, our fan base, Twitter was forever toxic. It was all the time. And actually, during his tenure, it's been, you know, there's been some fractious elements in it. They're always going to be. But in actual fact, it's been placid compared to previous. By a long shot, there's been nothing like the same level of ire in terms of being that. But just to reflect on, I think it was Jay that said it, is somebody would ask you what football team, like somebody that you've not worked with before would ask you what football team you support, and you say Leeds, and you'd get laughed at, and you knew you were going to be, because we were the laughing stock, and now they don't laugh. That's what he's given us. And so, you know, I always felt pride because I'm Yorkshire, I'm Leeds, and you know, I think that you know, that's an important part of who I am. But to be in a position where you can say that, and that it's changed the reaction that everybody else has towards Leeds as well. It's not just us.
Yeah, spot on. We've had a couple of comments in while we've been on there. Emma Bonnell, thank you for giving us some pride. United a city again, some glorious football, just everything. Pretty much echoing what you've all said there. Progressive gears, hope, pride, and unity. Yeah, exactly the same again. As Jay said, Marcelo for giving the club and city its idea. It's not just the city. It's not just the city. It is every Leeds fan and every town and city that they live in. When they're walking around with their Leeds shirts on, they're recognised. They're not just a Leeds United shirt because there's the odd person in a city or a little town that supports them. We're Leeds United and we're back. Do you know, we are back. And that's what he's brought to us, all those happy memories. Carl's said, I'd like to thank you for keeping me on the edge of my seat since the first minute against Stoke. It's been some ride. And look, you can't really fucking argue with that, can you? No. It has been it's been some ride, man. It's been absolute chaos from day dot. From that first season when we missed out on promotion, when we should have been promoted, right through to now. For making grown men feel enough to cry openly and give no fucks. Yeah, I think there's been quite a few tears over the past few days. And I don't.
Fucking hell, there's been some tears while they've been on here.
I know, yeah, I know.
I don't begrudge.
Couple more to come, all being well.
Yeah, I don't begrudge anybody's tears. If you're going to cry, get it out and get it done. Because I think the purpose for me doing this podcast tonight is about moving on. I don't know about what you guys think. It is about me almost thanking him and saying farewell almost and thanks for everything. And I think this is sort of going to help me certainly move on and get back to supporting the club and not just Marcelo, because although they came hand in hand previously, we've got to get to terms now and grips and understand that actually they're not anymore. So that's going to be the most difficult thing for me. Just one last one that Lindsay's just thrown in. Oh, actually, we've got a couple. I'd like to thank you for making me love football again, for being able to give me and my son the most special and unforgettable times at football together. You can't recreate those moments, can you?
No.
You just can't create them. So we have got one more very short video before we go into the final part of tonight. I'm going to read a short excerpt from an article out after this short video, and it is my little girl. There is a story behind it. Every morning, my little one gets into bed and asks me where Marcelo is today, and I always basically tell her he's in Costa. I always say Costa, and he's having I'll make something up. I'll make a drink up, and the drink changes from day to day. Like one day it'll be a skinny caramel latte with whipped cream and chocolate bits on. The next day it might be something completely different, like a can of Fanta if I can't be arsed or I'm really tired or something. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's going to come to an end soon when I have to tell her he's on a plane back to Argentina. So she didn't really know much about it, but she knew who he was, and yeah, she just wanted to send this little message in for everybody watching tonight.
Hello, Bielsa. Marcelo Bielsa.
Brilliant.
Great,
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
So just one last thing. This came from this is probably the best article I've seen since Bielsa left, and I've just taken the final two paragraphs out of it. I just wanted to read these out before we play the final video that Jay put together, because I think this probably sums it up better than any. The guy's named James Reaction. If you've seen it, it's from The Guardian. Bielsa was the best possible manager for Leeds at the best possible time. After so many years of stagnation, years of waste and anger, he proved the perfect antidote. In the early days, there were constant fears that he would simply leave, that the Leeds curse would snare him. Yet he stuck to his beliefs, even after a catastrophic end to his first season saw them lose to Derby in a thrilling playoff semi-final. And it wasn't the grenade-wielding, pitch-invading Bielsa of his youth. It was a man who knew this may be the last major test of his guiding principles, a final shot at showing the world how football should be played. Rarely can there ever have been a greater connection between supporters and manager. More than anything, he's allowed fans to dream again. His sacking doesn't simply feel like the loss of a genius manager, rather the loss of an old friend. On that note, I'd like to everybody just to, if they've got a beer, just to have one last glass.
I don't have a beer, which is I wish you'd have told me because
So long
in background sound. Cheers.
Final words are just so long, El Loco. That takes it into the last video. Cheers.
Oh, sorry.
Hang on.
I fucked it up. Sorry. There was just one additional element that I just wanted to say that has really helped me. So while I was going through making the video, I also had a look at some quotes. And I'd made a note of one of the quotes, and then I'd forgotten about it, and I was going to include it in the video, and then I didn't. I just wanted to read it out because this has really helped me. So they've shown me affection, which is private, which the public don't get to see, and which I've appreciated tremendously. And I think that's Bielsa talking about Leeds fans. And I think if that's his abiding memory of us, I can be all right with that. And I hope that he gets to remember that as he moves forward. I just want to mention that.
Yeah, I hope he's loved that.
Cheers, everyone.
He'll
we go with Leeds United. We're gonna give the boys a hand. Stand up and sing for Leeds United. They are the greatest in the land. And every day we're all gonna say we love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. And everywhere we're gonna be there, we love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. Marching on together, we're gonna see you win. We are so proud, we shout it out loud, we love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. We've been through it all together, and we've had our ups and downs. We're gonna stay with you forever, at least until the world stops going round. And every day we're all gonna say we love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. And everywhere we're gonna be there, we love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. Marching on together, we're gonna see you win. We are so proud, we shout it out loud, we love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. We are so proud, we shout it out loud, we love you, Leeds, Leeds.